Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Chrome Tour golf ball from Callaway.
The second women's major this season starts Thursday in Pennsylvania. It is the 79th U.S. Women's Open at Lancaster Country Club. It will be the second time that the course has hosted the Women's Open. The last time was in 2015 when the 19th ranked Inji Chun was victorious in front of record-breaking crowds. With more, here is Amy Rogers.
The USGA has brought the U.S. Women's Open back here to Lancaster Country Club to a course that the USGA has called a hidden gem. It's the second time that the U.S. Women's Open has been held here at the course. It has a unique mix of par fours, just two par fives, which is a little bit unusual, and each of the par threes has its own sort of unique character to them. Further adding to the unique qualities at this course are a number of blind tee shots and also candid fairways, just further adding to what is already a tough test here. Now, the USGA has described this course as a complete test of golf, and speaking with players here this week, they've all described this venue to me as a challenging one. They've said that the undulations and some of the uneven lies, you really couldn't see them when you were watching the coverage of the U.S. Women's Open back here in 2015. Here are a few more players reacting to this week's venue.
This golf course is a beast. I mean, it's off the tee. If you don't hit it into the fairways, it sinks down into the rough, and these greens are small and very, very undulated. I didn't get to play in 2015, but it's a beast of a golf course. It's going to test every aspect of your game. It's going to test every aspect of just your golf game and even your mental game, because, you know, it's a major championship. You can get ahead of yourself, get lost in the moment, and, you know, if you make a couple mistakes here and there, sometimes it can get away from you, but it's going to test every aspect of your game out there this week. Something that I noticed yesterday was how long of clubs that I had into the holes too, and then, you know, as a longer player on this tour, I would say that I tend to take advantage of the par fives, but I think all the par fives are going to be 3-shot holes this week. And it's just going to be tough. I mean, no matter if you hit it higher or, you know, if you're longer, I feel like the key out here this week is just hitting it straight. It doesn't matter if you're short or long.
It is a challenge for sure. You know, it tests everything, and that's exactly what you want at a U.S. Women's Open. And I think, you know, you can be scared coming into this week for sure, because it is such a tough golf course. But, you know, I think just looking forward to the challenge, and this course, it demands not only strategy but also execution. Like, you have to hit really good shots. So I think it's a great balance between the two. You know, you can't just bomb it around. I think every hole out here, they're all a little different from each other. You know, their style of how you have to play them is slightly different, and I think that's really cool about this place is you got to know where the slopes are. You got to be able to hit all kinds of different shots.
The course here closed for 2 weeks ahead of this major championship to make sure that it would be in pristine condition for this major championship. Now, the course has seen some significant changes since the U.S. Women's Open was last held here back in 2015. They added a new irrigation system, made changes to the practice facilities, to the practice putting green, and perhaps the biggest change, or the most noticeable change on course, is at the par 5 13th hole. This hole was lengthened by 30 yards, and 4 new bunkers were added to this hole. Now, Anna Nordquist was one of about 30 players that actually competed here back in 2015 and shared on social media earlier this week a photo of her yardage book from 2015 side by side with her yardage book from this year. We had a chance to catch up with her, and she shared her thoughts on how the course has changed since 2015.
I brought it. I haven't really looked much at it, and I think it's just appreciating how far we've come in the yardage books and how much you know, the game has grown ever since. But yeah, some good memories from last time I was here, and it's nice to see such a great venue get to host again.
And what are the biggest changes that you've noticed out here?
I mean, I remember it was playing pretty wet. I remember having a few mud balls that I didn't really enjoy back in 15. Yeah, it just seemed to play a little bit longer, a couple really tough shots, the greens are firmer, and definitely a lot faster.
I think the weather's making us feel differently. Like last time, I remember it just being tight off the tee and the rough being so tough. This time the greens are looking a little bit crazier than 9 years ago, but I mean, it's a great course, it's fun. To have only 2 par 5s is a little bit weird. I didn't remember that from last time. So we'll see how it goes, but I think the weather's going to hold up, so it's going to be interesting to see the difference in this course.
And just a side note on Uribe, who you just heard speaking there about what it was like playing here back in 2015. Like Lexi Thompson, this will also be her last U.S. Women's Open. She's played primarily on the Ladies European Tour over this last year, just hoping to earn enough ranking points to be able to qualify for the upcoming Olympic Games in Paris, hoping to represent her country of Colombia for the third consecutive games. She tells me after she makes it to the Olympics later this year, she will be walking away, looking forward to that next chapter of her life, enjoying life as a mom. Matt?
Great work, Amy. Thank you very much. Here are some of the notable tee times. As is traditional, the defending champion, Allison Corpuz, will be playing with the U.S. Women's Am champ, Megan Schofield. Nelly Korda, she tees off at 8:13 a.m. Lydia Ko and Jin Young Ko are out together 11 minutes later. Then in the afternoon, Lexi Thompson, who announced her retirement at the end of this season, well, she'll get started at 1:58 p.m. with Minji Lee and Rose Zhang. Brooke Henderson, well, she'll get going at 2:09 p.m. So, Tripp, what are some of the key storylines that you'll be keeping your eye on?
Well, I mean, obviously, we've talked about Lexi Thompson for sure. I mean, and I actually do. I think her retiring, having that mindset is actually going to help her probably play well and lighten up a little bit and probably have some success and have a chance to win. Will she get it done? Who knows? But I think that's a big story this week. But the story of 2024, other than Scottie Scheffler, is Nelly Korda. Those two are right there as just dominating players, and they're world number ones, dominating world number one, like no recent players other than players like Tiger Woods and Annika Sorenstam. I mean, they're carrying that mantle right now, and they're carrying it quite well. I think she's already got one major down. This one is a tough test. The only thing is the amount of par fives for her, she's going to have to play those 3 shots. If she's going to play them in 3 shots, her wedge game, which could be a little bit of a weakness with her, but there really isn't any weakness. You look at her statistically, and you go down at all of the stats that she's number one in. There's a stat that they don't keep that she is number one in now that she used to not be, and that's strokes gained in the present. She is so good at the mental game right now in her bubble. She talks about her bubble. Scottie Scheffler talks about his bubble. They are so good at staying in the present moment. And when they get distracted and they get pulled from it, they get back in it so quick and they're able to respond. I mean, Nelly, after Chevron, talked about Jason, her caddy, being so good about reminding her, don't get ahead of yourself. Let's stay right where we are. And that was the key to her going on and winning that major championship. But she's gotten so much better at that. And when you're so talented physically, and then you put the mental elements of it, of what great champions have, you're seeing the success. And I tell you what, I would not be surprised to see her win this week. They're at Sahalee for the KPMG. I really do think she has a shot. Obviously, she's got the shot because she's the only one with the first major of winning a Grand Slam in 24. She is playing that good. And would it be surprising? Of course it would. But Nelly Korda is on a run right now that's so much fun and so great for the women's game.
All right, that's Tripp Eisenhower with strokes gained bold prediction. I've never heard of strokes gained present before, so I'm glad that you brought that up to us. Here's how you can watch the U.S. Women's Open this week. Tune in to USA Network on Thursday and Friday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern each day. Saturday coverage begins at 3 on NBC, and for the final round, coverage is at 3 p.m. on USA and then moves over to NBC, or you can stream it all on Peacock.